Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, Ryco Filters, Evans Waterless Coolants, and Pace Farm. Hello and welcome to another episode of Classic Restos. And on this week's show, join me north of Brisbane here in Queensland. And you will see more right after this. It's thanks to Shannons. Ask about multi-policy discounts and sign up for the Shannons Club. Call 134646 for a quote and see more at shannons.com.au. And Hare and Forbes has the range. Buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. How cool's this? Maleny Showgrounds. It's an event that's been running for a handful of years now. It's established a name for itself, and it's the first time that it has featured on Classic Restos. Welcome to the 2017 Muscle on the Mountain. And Muscle on the Mountain it is, with a slight pun, as this event hands over its proceeds to the Prostate Cancer Foundation of Australia. A group of dedicated locals bring it together, and that's the formula that makes these types of shows rock. Maleny is a small, scenic town, home to almost 3,500 lucky residents, around 90 kilometres north of Brisbane on the Blackall Range, overlooking the Sunshine Coast hinterland in Queensland. Nearby places of geographical significance include the Glasshouse Mountains and Baroon Pocket Dam. Majestically placed at 450 metres above sea level, backdropped by characteristic green rolling hills of the Sunshine Coast. Prior to European settlement, the area was covered in thick subtropical rainforest with huge hardwood trees. Maleny is home to a large number of cooperative enterprises. The town has its own charm, comprising art galleries, health food and organic produce stores, and to the likes of cafes that help to make a viable, thriving business centre. Once a year, Maleny becomes even more enterprising when this is on. A chrome-plated metal fest of rolling time machines bring in the people. Every type of vehicle is welcome. Holden HSV, Ford FPV, muscle cars, street machines, hot rods, vintage and classic cars and motorcycles, the list goes on. All clubs are welcome. It's a gold coin entry, resulting in a fun day for all of the family. Okay, with me now, one of the organisers of 2017 Muscle on the Mountain. How you doing, Mick?
I'm going well, thanks, Fletch.
That's good, mate. Wow, look at the weather and what an event.
Well, it's a typical Queensland winter day. Yeah, it doesn't get any better, and a massive event. It's looking like, I don't know about a record, but it's looking like it might be.
Well, look, it's an honour too also. I mean, first time for Classic Restos to be here in Maleny as well.
Yeah, we're all pretty excited that we heard you were coming, and so, yeah, we've shone myself up my head. Just look at it.
Good on you, mate. The main thing, though, the main emphasis is to where the proceeds of this event are off to.
Yeah, so originally we had a Cole Sinclair's wife, Alison, organise a prostate cancer breakfast at the showgrounds here, and then we're talking, because we're all into muscle cars, and we decided, Peter Bunderson, Cole and myself, this would be really good to have a car show. So that's 6 years ago now. Yep.
That's awesome. Now, the very first show, Mick, how many cars turned up?
Well, we had 150 cars the first year, and we were absolutely wrapped with that on the Orb Cork Oval, which is the oval to the west of here. This is the Dave Hankinson Oval. This is much larger. So the second year we had 300 cars. The third year we had 480 on the Orb Cork Oval, and it became out of control. So the fourth year we brought it to here. Then we had just a touch under 800 cars. Last year a touch about 670, 680 cars, and this year it's looking like we're going to get a fair few more.
I'll tell you what, there's no doubt about it. He knows his numbers.
I'm a numbers man.
You're a numbers man.
Oh, yes.
all the car shows around the country and even on a global basis in a lot of respects are on the, they're growing in numbers, which is always fantastic. Proceeds off to the great cause. Mate, keep up the great work. It's talk about the variety of vehicles here. You have just got so much here.
So what we've done is a lot of people go for just steel bumper bars. We said anything, it doesn't matter what it is. It's anyone's pride and joy.
Good on you, Mick. I'll let you get back to it, mate, and good on you, mate, for doing this, and well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Another mainstay of the 2017 Muscle on the Mountain. How are you, Linda?
I'm well, thank you, Fletch.
That's good. Now, look, this is very interesting. You've got yourself a 100% original car, a 1971 HG Prem, and you've had it since brand new.
That's correct. It was bought in April, delivered in April 1971, and I delivered a son 12 months later. So the car's older than the children.
It's probably a good thing that you got the car before the family.
Yeah, probably was.
I think it's amazing that this car that you still have in your possession, you've had it all this time. I mean, it's showing the signs of an original car with, some paint fading and, a few little battle scars here and there. But what I love about it, it's the genuine article.
It sure is. My late husband was very passionate about his car, and he's made the kids promise that it'd never ever be sold.
Yeah.
So hence it's got to have some TLC done with it and be looked after a little more than it has been in the last few years. So.
Well, the main thing is that you've got it, and I mean that's the special thing. I mean, let's face it, you're never going to part with this car. This is what the old cars become to us. They become like a limb, don't they?
They sure do. They're extensions to the family.
They are.
And yes, that makes them very special.
Now, Linda, we look up front, we've got the original 186 engine sitting there. I mean, what a beautiful little red engine. They were made by General Motors Holden in this country. The interior is fantastic for its age as well, with the low back buckets and of course a little bit of wood grain around the dashboard, synonymous to the Prems as well.
Yes, that's correct. The only thing that's been changed in the internals has been the steering wheel's not original, of course, and the carpets have been changed once in 46 years.
Have you still got the original steering wheel?
Yes, I do.
I love looking around a car like this and finding all the stuff that's just been there since new. We look at the dress rims. They've got a little bit of surface rust on them. Bless their hearts, still sitting there from 1971. They don't even look like they've ever been off.
That's correct. They've been on the car all the time, and the rust comes from a few years living at the coast, but now back up in the hills again.
Yeah.
Not so bad.
These are the cars that the enthusiasts want. We either obtain these cars, keep the patina, leave them the way they are, or fully restore them. I mean, I know some guys would like to throw a V8 engine in the thing, but look, I think in its entirety with the standard 186, what we see is what you get, and I think it's marvellous. Good on you, Linda. Well done.
Thank you very much, Fletch. Thank you.
You have a good... No, I know you're working hard here today, but try and have a good day.
I will do that. Thank you.
I spend a lot of time out here. The RT Charger's the real deal. An E49. Remember A-Charger? I've always got projects on the go, so Shannon's laid-up cover helps protect my restorations. I'm Mopar through and through. It's a passion Shannons understands. I wouldn't insure my cars and bikes with anyone else.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Evans waterless engine coolant. Simple to install and stays good for the life of the engine. Suitable for all engine types, Evans contains no water, eliminating corrosion, vapour pressure and overheating. With a boiling point of 190 degrees Celsius, there's no application or environment too extreme. evanscoolants.com.au. Water for drinking, Evans for cooling.
Australia's changed over the last 80 years, and Ryco Filters has changed with it. But one thing stayed the same: Ryco's commitment to develop and test all our filters under Australian conditions. Today, we're proudly celebrating our 80-year commitment to a design philosophy that ensures all oil, air and fuel filters meet or exceed vehicle manufacturers' specifications, delivering genuine quality and performance you can trust. Ryco Filters, the professional's choice.
Heron Forbes Machinery House has been family owned and operated for over 85 years, and it's easy to see why. And with a range like this, you cannot go wrong. Planning on welding? Look at these welding tables and clamps, air compressors and different air tools, sandblasting cabinets, through to spray guns. Everyone is welcome at Machinery House, and they're also open Saturday mornings. Their range of machine tools are workshop tested. There are competitive freight rates around Australia, and you can buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. So remember, Hare and Forbes has the range. Okay, moving on through, as we do talk about the big names turn up at this event. Dan Bowden, how are you, buddy?
Really well, thanks, Fletch. Good to see you up here, mate.
Yes, well, mate, you're a friend of mine on Facebook, so I thought, I better have him on the show,
Why not, mate? No, why not in real life for once?
Dan, you are a big supporter here of this event. Main emphasis of today's interview in appreciation of that. How many years have you been coming here?
Since it started, since the very genesis of it all. Bunch of car nutters up here decided, it's a little field over the back here, and I think, they got about 40, 50 cars, and we supported them in that, and we've supported them every year. It's a local show for us. Yes. And have a look at it now. I can't even see the way over the back there. There's just unbelievable amount of cars here. It's a good area. It's beautiful, it's green, it's grassy, no dust. And a really good grouping of cars. Not just muscle cars, it's everything.
Yes. Haven't car shows changed? I mean, many, many years ago, a handful of guys would turn up and, talk a bit of crap and eat a sausage and then go home. But this is major now. We've got hundreds and hundreds of cars, attracting big sponsors, companies turning up. Yeah, Bowden's own, your own great product stand here as well. Mind you, you've got a bit of a crowd going yourself, Dan.
Yeah, no, the car care's gone pretty nuts for us. We put our heart and soul into it, and people use it. We're not big as marketing as the others, but we're really big on the quality of the gear, and pays off. We come to events like this, people have used it, and then they come back and they buy the rest of it. So, but it's a good front to front. It's easy coming here to a show like this. We know car people, and it's just a really fun thing to come to do.
Well, mate, the products do a fairly good job that you've got, because have a go at this Phase 4 XA GT behind us here. Now, mate, this looks absolutely stunning here on display. Yeah. To think that these XAs were destined for 160 miles an hour, still talking 4V 351 Cleveland, top-loaded gearbox, 9-inch diff. And what's interesting too, from Phase 3 to Phase 4, virtually the same engine, but just the aerodynamic styling to get that extra 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, look, they're a funny story, the Phase 4. This is our family car. We've had this since December 73, on and off. We've had it now for the last 15 years or more. But the Phase 4 is an interesting one. Subtle changes to the engines were done, but they never got to run at Bathurst, and that's just the crying shame. The whole political scare campaign about supercars coming soon, and that was the end of that. But this old girl here, the only race prototype that was ever done, and completed, and it would reach. Dad got it up over 160 mile an hour back in the day, and Keith Goodall, the previous owner, did the same as well, and so did the guys at Ford Special Vehicles who built it.
Talk about a white knuckle ride.
Oh yeah.
Mate, we've got the legendary Coke bottle side profile styling. I mean, a very nice car, the XA. I mean, so was the W and the Y. I mean, they all were. But this particular car, in terms of restoration, Dan, what was the process there?
Well, look, not so much restoration. We had it for a long time. It got a light touch-up in the 80s, I remember Dad doing. And then Rod Mann, it wasn't a restoration though, the Rod Mann, who we sold it to, went right through it. Thankfully, he did a really nice restoration in terms, he didn't change too much. If you go through it, like the roll cage and that, still got the marks and that from being a hand-built roll cage, and the bits like burns on the doors when it was put together. A lot of things, the engine bay and that all this stuff, the seam welding and all that's still there, And a lot of other race cars we see, they get restored, all that just disappear. They get made into a show car, which they never were. Hey, it's shiny, but we make products, so it's all good. Yep. But, you got to be sympathetic to the car, and we're very cautious about that. So it really hasn't been touched since we've got it. We put the Bathurst exhaust back on it. Rod had already done the proper springs back in it and things like that. Yep. So it's really good. It's basically how you look at it now. It's how she would have rocked up at Bathurst in October 72.
Mate, great to see some old school, and certainly a lot of mechanical appreciation involved in these cars, mate. Dan, thanks for being on today's show, mate, and again turning up here for Muscle on the Mountain for 2017.
Mate, one of the best shows in Queensland. We love being here every single year.
Oh, and like a few more posts on my Facebook.
Oh, always, mate. No, always.
Okay, thanks, mate.
Thanks, Fletch. Cheers, buddy.
See you, Dan. When it came time for powerful cars on the Australian market, the XY-GT Phase 3, rated at 140 miles an hour from the factory back in the day, was a pretty tough car to beat. By the time the XA four-door car rolled around, well, they were going to call that the Phase 4. And that was going to be heading out the door at 160 miles per hour. This is when things went horribly wrong. Government departments stepped in. It was officially marking the end of the true muscle car market here in Australia. You know, there's a lot of really cool stuff here today, but I reckon this would have to go down as one of the coolest things on the paddock. How you doing, Brian?
Yeah, very good, Fletch. How are you?
Good, mate, good. 1959 Plymouth Wagon.
Yep.
Mate, there's no such thing as a bad angle. Whatever way we look at this, it's fantastic. What can you tell us about it?
I picked the car up. I've had it now for about a year and a half, 2 years. I picked it up. It was actually brought over from the States quite a few years back and all done here on the sunny coast by the previous owner. I picked it up, like I say, a couple of years ago, just done a bit of a tidy up on it.
Mate, the sheet metal work is just, it's stunning, isn't it? I mean, it takes away the realms of thinking, oh, we'll just get a plain station wagon for the family. I mean, back in 1959, I mean, back then, though, it would have had its cheese-cutter tyres, it would have sat a lot higher, but now, all these decades down the track, it just looks so cool, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's still registered as an 8-seater with the dicky seat in the back.
Yep.
So, you know, you can still fit a whole family in there if you need to, So, definitely one of a kind car. So.
Brian, we'll talk about the tubbing of the car in the rear first, mate. There's some big businesses happen back there.
Yeah, so the rears are definitely tubbed, so it's got a shortened 9-inch in it, 20-inch by 385 tyres on the back, so mate, fair bit of meat under there.
Deep dish rims?
Yep, definitely deep dish. Yeah, so the rims were actually made over in the States.
Now the interior, Brian, has been redone again. Absolute perfection going on in there.
Yep, so interior once again was redone here on the sunny coast by a local guy up around Yandina way. Yeah. So it sort of kept it similar to original inside with the red carpeting, red seats. Yep. Yeah, houndstooth inserts. Yep. Yeah.
Mate, he's done a good job. Now go department up front. Now what's going on there? Tell us what plant you've got.
So it's got a 440 in it, only a mild cam in it. Yeah, pretty stock. Just a little 600 Holly on there, vacuum secondary. So
mate, you only need a mild cam and a 440, don't you?
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Just a nice cruiser. So yeah.
Good on you, Brian. I'll let you go, mate, and get around this great day. Just before I do let you go, there, what's your thoughts on 2017's event here, Muscle on the Mountain?
Oh, absolutely brilliant event. First time I've been to it. I've missed the last couple of years due to work. Yep. But first time here and just an awesome event. Yeah, good on you, mate. Definitely.
Thanks, Brian.
No worries, Fletch. Thank you.
Cheers.
Every weekend around Australia, motoring enthusiasts get together to share their passion for cars and bikes. It's a passion that brings us together. All sorts of people, all sorts of cars and bikes. From the classics of today to the classics of tomorrow. At Shannons, we understand enthusiasts. So when it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannons. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Australia's changed over the last 80 years, and Ryco Filters has changed with it. But one thing stayed the same: Ryco's commitment to develop and test all our filters under Australian conditions. Today, we're proudly celebrating our 80-year commitment to a design philosophy that ensures all oil, air and fuel filters meet or exceed vehicle manufacturers' specifications, delivering genuine quality and performance you can trust. Ryco Filters, the professional's choice.
If you have a restoration project, Hare and Forbes has the tools that you need. Look at these restoration products: shrinker stretchers, dollies, mallets, bead rollers, profile gauges, professional panel restoration kits, and so much more. Now I warn you, enter at your own risk because you will end up buying something. So come along to your Cap City store or browse and buy online at machineryhouse.com.au because Hare and Forbes has the range.
Evans waterless engine coolant. Simple to install and stays good for the life of the engine. Suitable for all engine types, Evans contains no water, eliminating corrosion, vapour pressure and overheating. With a boiling point of 190 degrees Celsius, there's no application or environment too extreme. evanscoolants.com.au. Water for drinking, Evans for cooling.
Time for something a little custom mod now on today's show. How you doing, Wayne?
Good, Fletch. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. Now, you've got a 1977 LX Torana. Nice thing.
Yep, absolutely. Very nice thing.
What was it like when you got it?
It was a bit of a basket case, actually, Fletch. It needed a lot of work.
This is what I like to hear in one respect, because when they're basket cases and then to see it transform to how you've got the car now, mate, that is absolutely divine. So how long was the build time?
It took 6 years, mate, in the back shed, all done at home.
Now, the interior, Wayne, that just screams, come and sit on me.
Absolutely, Fletch. It was all done at home as well. All self-upholstered, yep.
You're a clever bloke.
Mate, I try.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, you could have told me it went out to one of the best trimmers and I wouldn't have known any different.
No, absolutely not. All done at home.
Okay, we're swapping and changing a little bit here. We go back to the paint. Now, what's that called?
That's actually a PPG colour done in the waterborne with a 2-pack clear over the top.
Yep. It's really popping in the sun. I mean, the metallic is it's really out there, isn't it?
It is something else, Fletch. Really happy with it.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, up front with the engine department, run us through the specs there and what you've done.
It's a 304 block with a 355 stroker crank, alloy heads, flat tappet cam, and running a 750 Holly and MSD ignition.
I bet it goes.
It makes a healthy amount of power, Fletch. Yeah, it's good fun.
We're not talking a heavy car, and when you start talking stroker cranks, I mean, the torque just goes right up.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah. Good stuff, mate. Look, I like the two-tone, appearance of the car as well. You mentioned the name of the silver paint. You got black highlighting that as well. Everywhere you look, it's just a really nice package. It's a really nice style of a car,
Just
Wayne.
not a Torana without that black bonnet, is it, mate?
You've got to have that.
Yeah,
makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you for turning up and being on today's show, mate. You're the Torana of the episode.
Thank you very much, Fletch. Good to see you again.
I've had a little bit of a custom mod on the show with Wayne's brilliant Torana. Now time for Ross with this 66 Mercury. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you, Fletch.
That's the mate, beautiful car.
Yeah, well, we're over in America for a trip doing Route 66, and you wouldn't believe it, this thing was there, and the wife saw it and said, we got to buy that car.
How cool. A 1966 car found on Route 66. It doesn't get much better than that, does it?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
This car, 100% original in terms of not molested, no one's got it and mucked around with it. It's how it would have left the dealership back in the day. Yeah. Still got the die-cast label up on the top left-hand corner of the trunk, because they used to do that. The dealerships were so proud. Actually, Stack here in Australia used to do it as well with the Holdens.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Well, this one originally was bought in Seattle, was made in Seattle, shipped to Washington, in a place called Walla Walla. That's where the owner had it. Yeah. And then someone else got a hold of it at a car show, and he sold it.
So what have you done to it in the time you've had it, Ross?
I've done a bit of restoration on it, just cleaned it all up. Had some friends helping me out on doing all the front end, and had a new gas tank put in, and I had it repainted.
Isn't it beautiful that we can bring these cars back to life, or at least give them that extra little bit of a boost to go another 50 years relatively trouble-free? What's nice about these cars is that they don't get driven every day, and when they do, they're greatly appreciated. We turn up here in the paddock, everybody loves them, and what a thing, though, to drive. I mean, you've got a 20-foot long by 7-foot wide car, a beautiful shape, dressed in stainless steel, running from the top of the front fender right across the doors, right to out the back, and showcased with that gorgeous blue interior as well. I mean, it's a beautiful car.
Yeah, well, it's as it is. That's how I bought the car, and the interior is original stuff. The carpet's original.
And then we talk about the effortless performance, because these are the cars that are heavy. I mean, these are the heavyweight cars. They've got these V8 engines that just have so much torque. They'll do everything on 20 millimetres of throttle. They lift the cars up and just push them along down the road, as you said. Beautiful job that they do. And in this case, you've got a very nice 410 sitting under the hood. And boy, doesn't that look like $1 million?
I know. It's I was quite surprised. Just a car to get in and just cruise along the road. Yeah. You haven't got a loud noise in it, even though it's got the V8 in it. It's nice and quiet, and it just cruises along the road. And I think that's what I wanted.
Good on you, Ross. It's kind of like Ross's lounge room, isn't it? You know, like, I mean, if you get a bit sick and tired of the one at home, well, you can get in this one and see the countryside as well, thrown in as a bonus.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And there's so much room in the car too, you know. Like they say about open up the trunk, you know, and And then the wife saw that. She said, "Oh, I could have a bit of a sleep in that."
Yeah, well, they're nice and wide, so you can get away from the missus.
Yeah.
All right, mate, I'll leave you with it.
Oh, thank you very much. No, thank you very much for bringing on the show.
No, that's okay, Ross. Worth hanging around for and having you, mate. That's beautiful job.
I'm
Thank you.
glad you did. Thank you very much for that.
Well, that wraps up just some of the 2017 Muscle on the Mountain here in Maleny, just north of Brisbane in Queensland. Check social media, see if you can attend in 2018. As I say at the end of every episode, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos, proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, Ryco Filters, Evans Waterless Coolants and Pace Farm.